Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlock fight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing ground, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw pants on. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in the podcasting world. It's me, it's that Legend. And with me, as always, is, of course, everybody's favorite uncle and my favorite tag team partner, Uncle Slam.
What's up, family, and welcome to the People's Podcast.
Tonight, the search for the greatest world heavyweight champion of all time continues as two of the most influential promotions in wrestling history go head-to-head in another unforgettable round of our tournament. On one side is the worldwide juggernaut that transformed professional wrestling into a global phenomenon, the World Wrestling Federation / entertainment. On the other side, one of the most legendary territories in wrestling history, world-class championship wrestling. The Dallas-based promotion that gave us unforgettable rivalries, revolutionary storytelling, and some of the greatest world champions to ever step through the ropes. The brackets are loaded with icons, Hall of Famers, and champions whose legacies have stood the test of time. Every match becomes more difficult, every vote becomes more important, and every decision is guaranteed to spark debate. Who deserves to advance? Which champion reign meant more? Which champion changed the business forever? Tonight we'll settle it the only way we know how, with passionate discussion, wrestling knowledge, and maybe a few friendly arguments along the way. So jump into the live chat, tell us who you're pulling for, defend your favorite, and let's hear your voice be heard, because the Havoc crew always has a seat at the table. Now, let's meet our incredible panel, Mr. Aaron Rose.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing?
Right?
We're good. I know. I always expect an audience response when somebody says that. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. This is live, but not like that.
I'm excited to be here, and been away from wrestling a little bit, but starting to get back into it. I ran into Professor Bear myself this past Sunday back in Knoxville for NG Dub. Got to see young Avery Styles in action along with CJ Gallows. So that was a fun night. Tyler Breeze and Sugar Dunkerton, or Shug D, or just Shug now. So heck of a card in Knoxville. It was a blast down there.
Sounds awesome. And of course, everybody knows this gentleman. He's becoming a frequent face on this show, and we appreciate every time he appears on here. Everybody's favorite professor, Professor Bear.
Hello, everyone. Always glad to be on. You know, a lot of places won't have me on more than once, so I'm very happy and blessed. So.
Well, you are becoming a member of the Havoc family, just like Mr. Rose here. You guys are definitely always have open invitations to come back and everything. But tonight we are getting into the WWF/E and WCCW sides of the brackets for the greatest world heavyweight champion of all time. Now, I don't know if you all seen out. Oh, we've got Samson coming in. Hold on just a second. Just to let everybody know, I apologize. We had Big Beard Dudley scheduled for tonight, but he is still tied up with, he's at wrestling right now. So he's doing his job and stuff. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it. And if he comes later, we'll throw him in anyway and everything, get his opinion on stuff. But yeah, for now, we are going to bring in Samson, which is a friend of Professor Bear's, and we will let them do their little introduction of each other here. Let's see. I'm going to have to change this setup so that way we can see you. There we go. Hello, Samson.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good. Legend J Mac here. That's Uncle Slam. I don't know if you've met Mr. Rose, but if you haven't, he's up above you. Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc.
Well, hey man, it's a blessing. I had no intention of doing anything but watching Braun Strowman eat a restaurant. But hey man, some of the best things happen when you don't expect them at all. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you for the first time. And I hope I can fill who didn't show up's boots and do a great job for you guys.
I'm sure you will do just fine. Well, just to fill you in, past few weeks we have been doing a greatest heavyweight champion of all time tournament. We've done it by companies, the 8 biggest companies that we could come up with. And we've just basically broke it down to the company champion. And then next week will be our final show, and that'll have all the final company champions facing each other. But tonight we're getting into the WWF and WCCW brackets. So we appreciate you coming and helping us decide who the greatest champion in these brackets are.
Amazing.
All righty. Well, gentlemen, without any further ado, we will go ahead and start out with the WCCW brackets. Let me put this visual up here. Now, guys, I'm going to tell y'all right now, this is a hard company to do this by the stipulations I put in upon myself, because usually I would ask everybody to give me 5 or 6 champions, but then all the debate comes in and it gets hard to, when people can't make the same show and fight for their choices. So I just broke it down to longest reigns as far as days and most reigns, and tried to get the best of the best that I could. Now, I had to revise this because a couple of the champions, and yes, technically Fritz von Erich falls under that category, but he's like a 20-time champion. I think he deserves some recognition. But a lot of the champions fell under the NWA territory.
Right.
So I was trying to get the ones who were just the world champion for this company. And it really didn't have a long history of being a world champion. It was always a subsidiary of the NWA territories.
So what? I hate to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Looking at the list, and one name that should have been there for me, and I think one person name that shouldn't be on there is Jimmy Garvin. Jimmy Garvin, he shouldn't be there, and Ravishing Rick Rude should, because Rick was their first recognized world champion.
See, I agree, but but when it came down to amount of reigns, I was like, man, this sucks. I'm putting Jimmy Garvin in a greatest of all time tournament. I was like, I can't kill the integrity of the tournament because I've got to go by the rules and the standards I put to myself. But I was like, am I really going to have to talk about Jimmy Garvin being the greatest heavyweight champion? I love him. I think he did great, but he wasn't even the greatest United States tag team champions. So, yeah. So before we get started, does anybody else have any, is there any positions you would, replace? You would change anybody, maybe switch a matchup? We'll start with you, Mr. Rose.
On the WCCW side, just
yes,
specifically?
Sir. Here, I'll pull this up for you. Just for this one. For the WCCW.
I don't have any qualms for what is out there per se. So I say we roll with it.
All righty. What about you, Samson? Sorry,
Yeah.
was you still looking at it?
No, it's good, dude. I'm good.
Okay. Any thoughts about anybody you would replace or anything?
I'm fine.
Nope.
Just,
All righty. Well,
coming into it, I'm coming in cold, guys. So I apologize. So I'm just going off my dome.
You're fine. You are completely fine. That's why it's unscripted. All righty. We will go first match. We will go Fritz von Erich versus his son, Kevin von Erich. And we will start off with Professor Bear and go counterclockwise.
Ooh, this one's tough for me because Fritz is the father of the Von Erichs, of course, but he's the father of that territory. I mean, anybody that came through there in the early days, you had to go up against Fritz. Fritz was amazing in his days. He was definitely he's an underrated champion that a lot of people do not talk about. When they talk about it, they're always talking about the tragedy of the Von Erich family. And while I understand that and appreciate why people do, let's put some emphasis on what he did in the ring and how he helped create wrestling. Again, a lot of people don't give Fritz his flowers for helping create modern day stance. Like some of your people like Brody King and the houses that they cheer for nowadays are almost cut from his cloth of what he did in the day. So, I mean, he's great. Now, on the other side, if you're going to look at the most underrated Von Erich, it definitely is Kevin Von Erich. Kevin has had everything. He could high fly. He could mat wrestle. He was just such an amazing athlete that was overshadowed by his two more famous brothers, Kevin and David. So if I'm looking at it and going head to head, shockingly, I would give it to Kevin because I think Kevin, with his all-around wrestling appeal and everything, high flying, again, he could do it all, where Fritz was more of a brawler and Kevin Kevin was one of those wrestlers that no matter what style he was up against, it wasn't a problem for him because he easily could adjust to anyone's style of wrestling and had the way of still telling a great story with his wrestling, no matter who his opponent was, no matter if it was a blood feud, if it was a catch style, if it was just showing your ability off. Kevin can match anyone. So I'm going to go with Kevin.
All right. That's one for Kevin. Mr. Sampson.
Apologize. Yes.
We'll go with you, Mr. Rose.
Goodbye.
I'm going
Sorry,
to.
guys.
Oh, Samson, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, I'm going to keep it really simple. Look, I look at it this way, okay? When I look at the Von Erichs, I think of the Hart family as well because I'm Canadian. You know, Fritz and why is his name eluding me? Help me out
Kevin.
there. No, not Kevin. Brett's name.
Helen, I think.
No, that's his mother's name. Who was his? Anyways, Brett dad, right?
Yeah.
Stampede Wrestling. Both guys were great promoters.
Oh,
But
Stu
their
Hart.
Stu Hart.
Stu Hart, thank you. Stu and Fritz, amazing promoters, and changed the game, especially up in Canada, and what Fritz did for his territory and whatnot with all the talent that came through. I mean, holy smokes, man. If you think about all the people that came through that territory, all the people that worked there. But at the end of the day, if it's coming down to wrestling, I'm just going to keep it simple. It's Kevin, as I would have picked Brett.
All righty. So we got 2 for Kevin. Go ahead, Mr. Rose.
So, I like where Bear's head was at there. Fritz von Erich, definitely the one that you would go up against the most, going into that territory, especially in his younger years. Obviously, when he was older, you worked for the man. That, if you were anybody who was anybody, you were in Dallas. Now, and working for Fritz. Now, that being said, Kevin von Erich, the things that he has done in his career was absolutely amazing. I mean, you're looking at everything from, basically all the titles that could have been held in that area. He had his All Japan stint. So did Fritz, I believe. He even made his way up to St. Louis a little bit. And I tell you what, I feel like Kevin would be the way to go with that as well. So I think it's going to be Kevin.
All righty. That's 3 for Kevin. He's going on to the next round regardless. Uncle Slam.
Okay. I'm going to preface like what I'm going to say by saying that I really didn't get to watch a whole bunch of WCCW. It really wasn't in my area. I was probably watching something else, probably WCW at the time, or maybe Ring of Honor or WWE or Elf at the time. So everything I know mostly about them is going to be from research because I didn't get to watch a whole bunch of it. So I'm going to put it like that. From like what I know, Fritz is the foundation. Everything started with him. He's the one, of course, he's the father. So he had all the kids. He started, I'm pretty sure, WCCW back in the day. So he was the founder. He was one of the, I think, first champs or whatever, kind of ran things. He was kind of the beginning. Then the Sons came along, second generation wrestlers, and kind of took the mantle from there. Didn't really know much about him. All I knew, I know more about, I guess more about the tragedy of David and, obviously Kerry and stuff. And so a lot of that being said, I would probably went Fritz, but it's not going to really matter. Obviously Kevin's going to go on anyway and stuff, but I felt like Fritz was more influential like when it came to WCCW because of everything he started. And I don't really know much about Kevin, honestly. Like I said, I know more about everybody else. So that would have been my vote, but it's not going to change anything. He's still going through.
I was the same way. I really like, Fritz as far as like what he done for the business and everything, because I think, man, could you imagine the Von Erichs when they hit like the rock stars they were, if they were in the NWA or, Crockett Promotions, or if they were in WWF? That would have been ridiculous money and ridiculous, stuff. People don't realize how big the Von Erichs really were, and I think that's a tragedy in and of itself, because along with Uncle Slam, I didn't know a lot about WCCW until I got older, and everything I've learned has been off of just research and, but I've always been really interested in their family, and unfortunately it was the tragedy that brought me into it. But Kevin Von Erich, I think, had the tragedies not hit and it soured him so much on wrestling, I think Kevin and Kerry especially, and I didn't get to see, I haven't seen much of David, but everybody says David was the best out of all three. And but I don't see any of those 3 boys not being a superstar somewhere for some company. So I've got to give it to Kevin over his dad, even though the dad is the patriarch. But like you said, it didn't matter. He made it on through. All righty, for the next matchup, we have got the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich versus Gentleman Chris Adams, and we are going to let's go clockwise this time and start with Mr. Rose.
Ooh.
He said you had to, didn't you?
So in this situation, that to me this is a tough matchup. I feel like Chris Adams was one of the ones that was very underrated in his career.
Yes.
A wrestler that, you kind of saw him do the mid card thing on WCW, late in his career before he passed away. But I mean, really, he was one of the guys that was the face of WCCW. And, you got to remember I think he was a tag team champion with somebody else on the other side of the bracket, Mr. Gino Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
They were tag team champions, but
great team too, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were a very dynamic duo in the ring, and it was somebody, it was a team that was almost ahead of their time, really, because they were more of a high flying, harder hitting style team. And I believe, if memory serves me correct, I think Chris Adams was one of the innovators of the super kick as well.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the innovator of it.
Yeah,
he was
the innovator
pretty,
of the super
pretty
kick.
much everybody who uses it can thank Gentleman Chris Adams.
Right. But when you look at guys like he's going up against and Kerry Von Erich, you're looking at one of the Von Erichs that was able to make it out of the Dallas territory and go nationwide with the World Wrestling Federation. As the Texas Tornado, Intercontinental Champion there. But when you look at the list of all the titles that he held within WCCW, and the fact that he also held the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, in defeating Ric Flair, I have to lean toward to Kerry Von Erich.
I totally understand that entire argument. Mr. Sampson?
You know what? Next time I should have gone first, man. It's basically everything that I was thinking. Like, if you think about technical wrestling, it's definitely, Chris Adams, 100%. But at the time, of the era and everything else, I mean, if you think about the Von Erichs, he's the one who did make it to the WWE. He had won the title from Ric Flair in '84 to get the NWA title as well. So just looking at it, and he was more charismatic, let's be fair. I mean, he had more of the character. He had more of that appeal as well. So, to keep it simple, Kerry Von Erich for me as well.
Kerry Von Erich, that's 2 for the Texas Tornado. Mr. Bear?
Yeah, I have to agree. What they said, I was going to say too, especially on Chris Adams and the invention of the super kick. A lot of people don't realize that Chris Adams was a full martial arts champion, and he did bring in the super kick. And man, it wasn't, and no disrespect to the Young Bucks or the Usos, who does it 27 times.
Oh my God. Yes, so true.
When Chris hit you,
if you think about it, Bear, the super kick is also in Street Fighter, man.
Yes.
It's like one of the main moves.
Yeah, exactly. So when Chris hit you with it, you were gone. It wasn't no comeback. This was where Shawn Michaels got the move from. A lot of people don't know. Yep. With all that being said, Chris was definitely underrated. Him and Gino, the dynamic dudes, were tremendous tag team, and had one of the hottest feuds. Unfortunately, Gino passed away before they could pay it off. But I mean, when you say Von Erich to anyone outside of Texas, immediately Kerry is the Von Erich that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, as much as I did love Chris, there was no way in the hell he was going to beat Kevin. I mean,
Right.
excuse me, Kerry or Kevin, to be honest.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Uncle Slam.
All right, well, it's probably going to be a clean sweep on this one because I'm going to go carry on this one. Even though I did learn, I think that the gentleman, Chris Adams, is the one that mentored Stone Cold. Like, if
Yes.
like, all right, so that's kind of interesting too. And so, super kick,
trained
and yeah, he trained Stone Cold also.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Kerry. Like I said, he was the future. He always was. Like I said, I mean, I think he was. Like I said, he was supposed to be the second. Like I said, David was always supposed to be the superstar. He was the one that was, was supposed to have it all. He could work. He could, have the promos, everything. Obviously, he passed away, and then to see Kerry actually beat Ric Flair, and I think it was Texas Stadium with like 40,000 people. Man, that's insane. Like that's what they do numbers now for like WrestleManias and shit like that.
Yeah.
Imagine back in that time packing a stadium with that many people. That's insane. I mean, to me, that just blows my mind thinking about that happened so long ago when shit like that, happens now. So, yeah, Kerry easily on this one.
You were right. It is a clean sweep. Kerry gets my vote as well. But, I always had like a soft spot. I actually had a conspiracy theory that Kerry Von Erich was really the original Ultimate Warrior. They look so much alike, dude. Put the paint on the man and tell me it don't work.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
I'm telling you, man, I had the biggest. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, Mom, it's him. It's him. He just doesn't want to do the Ultimate Warrior character no more. But no, my respect of Kerry Von Erich. I'm not here to argue the semantics of the tragedies of his demons or anything like that. Just the fact that that man could overcome losing a leg and still, well, I don't want to say a leg, but a portion of his leg, and still being able to do what I've seen some two-legged people not be able to walk to the ring, much less get in the ring and wrestle. And I'm not throwing any shade towards anybody specifically. I'm just saying it happens in everything. There's people who just can't do things, and there's healthy people who couldn't do this. And that man did it and did it at the highest level. This man was going toe to toe with people say, well, he never was the world champion. He was wrestling Kurt Hennig on WWF TV and beating Kurt Hennig, one of the most respected, greatest wrestlers of all time. And he beat him for one of the most prestigious titles of all time on the biggest stage of all time. And he did it with one leg. That gets my vote right there. Regardless of anything else, he overcame so much to even get to that. So Kerry Von Erich it is for me. Clean sweep. That was pretty easy. All righty. I think we'll just skip the next one because I know where everybody's going with that. But no, I'm just joking. We're going to do it, even though I kind of got an idea of where this is going. But we will start. We got Iceman King Parsons versus Jimmy, not yet Jam Garvin. More like gorgeous Jimmy Garvin at this point. We will start with Samson on this one.
All right. Like, you know what? I'm coming in completely cold, so I don't know too much about Iceman Parsons, to be completely honest. So I'm just going to be a fan. I'm going to go with Jimmy Garvin. It's just plain and simple. I'll keep it nice and easy.
Jimmy Garvin it is. Let's go with Uncle Slam.
Well, like I said, I'm going in kind of like him because I really didn't know much about any of these guys. Like I said, most of all, like everything I know is through research.
You know, Jimmy Garvin was one of the
I-
Freebirds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Like I knew that much.
Know that
Okay.
much.
I just
Yeah,
didn't want
like
to
I
blow
know
your
that
mind
much.
here.
No, but on my list, it looks like it shows something else. Hold on a second, because it looks like I got. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right.
He
We got
changed
what,
it earlier.
Don't forget, I had to change
Oh,
it
okay.
earlier.
Okay. That's what's throwing me off because I'm over here looking at this. Okay, so it's what?
These are- So it's
So there's no
Iceman King-
spoiler. Iceman King versus what?
Jimmy Jam Garvin.
Oh hell!
Well,
I don't
not
know.
yet
No.
Jam. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin at this point.
I'm gonna have to go with Jimmy Jam because I don't know shit about the other man. Just to be 100% honest, like I ain't even gonna front. I'm not gonna bullshit and waste nobody's time. I have.
You know what's really cool here? That we're just, it's
I
so
just wanna
honest,
say-
man. I love it.
I just want to say we lost like every viewer we had and every bit of legitimacy we had in this tournament because Jimmy Jam Garvin just got 2 votes in the greatest of all time tournament. We're gonna go with
Well, like
Mr.
it's one of those
Rhodes.
last minute. Well, it's one of those last minute things. You threw in that twist, and I'm like, I know nothing. You know,
I'm with
you know, you don't know what you don't know.
I'm with the Unk, man.
You said this is probably a throwaway match, right? Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter who goes out of this round. I think if it comes, they're gonna be taking on the winner of Bruiser Brody and Gino Hernandez. Whoever it is, they're gone.
He said, "Give him his flowers and let Jimmy Jam at least go to the next round."
It's funny. I think I really want to go with Iceman King Parsons on this. I've seen Iceman around. I saw him in World Class. I saw him in. He did Global Wrestling Federation. Of course, he wrestled Memphis a little bit, and him being in Memphis, that kind of hits home for me. So I'm going Iceman King Parsons.
All right, Professor Bear.
I'm so glad that I'm last at this for a few different reasons. One, I cannot believe the disrespect to the Iceman King Parsons. Now, if you are watching this King Parsons or any of his family members, I met King Parsons earlier this year.
Yes, you did.
Let me tell you some facts about Iceman King Parsons. He legitimately
Mark him down for 2.
he legitimately was one of the first Black world champions, recognized world champions in the modern era.
And we discussed that on our Juneteenth episode.
Simmons. Yep. It is not Ron Simmons. If you're going by modern day standards, it was Iceman King Parsons. Mm-hmm. 2, he helped create the Blackbirds, was a shoot group of the Fabulous Freebirds when they kicked Michael Hayes out. Mm-hmm. Again, he is so underrated as a character, and he did such a tremendous job. Now, with all that being said, I love Jimmy Garvin, but ain't no way in the hell he should be on this list as a world champion. I love Jimmy. No disrespect to Jimmy, but he shouldn't have even made this list.
Bear, I'm sorry that I picked Garvin.
He said, "Don't end our friendship."
I'm sorry. We'll talk about it on Monday.
He said, we'll talk later, man. We'll talk later, man.
We'll talk about it on Monday.
All right, man. Why do y'all?
I think I
put
got
me
in
in this-
Bear's good side there.
I just got to say, I don't want to be in the position I'm in of having to make this tiebreaker because I don't think it should be a tiebreaker. I'm willing to let them rescind their votes. No. At the end of the day, though, I love Jimmy Jam Garvin for what he was, especially because I first knew him as Jimmy Jam Garvin, one half of the Freebirds, but of course that was in the later version of the Freebirds. You can't add Brad Armstrong as Bad Street and think you're doing something good.
Right.
But, but and that's no disrespect to Brad Armstrong, top 20 great wrestler of all time. But I just I can't put Jimmy Jam Garvin over just about anybody. Although he is one of the first people that started using the stunner as his finishing move in WCW. If you look it up, he came back at a Clash of Champions, had short hair and stuff and everything. But yeah, King Parsons is who I'm going to use, and actually Michael P.S. Hayes started using it too, right around the same time.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, it looks like Iceman King Parsons is going on to the next round, and we are going to move on to the next match, which is the one that I think Mr. Rose was really excited to get into here. So we got Bruiser Brody versus Gino Hernandez, and I did not do this on purpose, but isn't it kind of crazy how those two guys ended up on the first round, especially with the tragedy of them not I don't want to say they didn't get to their prime because they got really good. Gino definitely didn't hit his prime, but Brody was starting to, I feel like, and we were just robbed of both of these men far too soon. So, RIP to both of those gentlemen, and thank you for the memories. But yeah, we'll give it to Mr. Rose. Bruiser Brody versus Gino Hernandez.
All right. First and foremost, if you all saw, I know I'm a big fan of the Dark Side of the Ring series.
Yes.
The one on Bruiser Brody was really good.
Yes, it was. I love it.
I'm going to say this. Bruiser Brody set the standard for what kind of wrestlers you can see today, like those wild characters. He was the one that set the standard for that, I think. He was Cactus Jack before Cactus Jack. To me, Bruiser Brody was one man you would not want to meet in the back alley.
Nope.
You got to remember they had, like, what was it? The NWA, the Brass Knuckles Championship. He held that dang thing 8 times. Of course, he was a NWA Texas Heavyweight Champion, which is your WCCW title. But you got to think he made all Japan. He went out there multiple times, and you got to remember him teaming with Stan Hansen. Holy crap!
What are you talking? That is not a match I would want to get into.
Oh
in
my
one night.
gosh! Yes. So Bruiser Brody. I really liked Bruiser as a wrestler, and knowing how tough he was. Now, when you look at somebody like Gino Hernandez, he held the NWA Texas title 6 times.
Right.
That is a ridiculous amount of championships. This one is tough for me because you got 2 wrestlers who were robbed of their prime. You got 2 wrestlers who were tough in their own rights, and you got 2 wrestlers with 2 varying different styles. But I'm going to have to go. I think if you were to see them in a one-on-one match, I would have to go with Bruiser Brody. I feel like Bruiser, I know he didn't hold that title as many times by any means, but when I just feel like Bruiser is just that tough son of a gun that you just don't want to meet anywhere.
Bruiser was the type of guy that would look at Vince McMahon and say, "You can keep your money. I'll go to Japan and make all kinds of money.
Right.
I can go anywhere." That's the difference in, and yeah, I think Hogan became that, but he became that with the machine.
Right.
Yeah.
These guys became worldwide famous and could go work anywhere because of who they were and
Yeah.
what they did in the ring. You
Yeah.
know, Hogan's was more because of the fact that he had that machine behind him. And I'm not saying anything bad about Hogan, but you know, that's the way he did it. But Brody was that kind of guy. Sorry. Didn't mean to go off on tangent, but yeah, I really like Bruiser Brody.
Yeah. It had to be Bruiser for me.
I can't, I don't know yet. I'm still thinking. So let's hear Professor Bear's opinion.
So, I'm going to give a little slight, inkling on something. We are blessed at WSN to have a match between Bruiser and Gino Hernandez.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's funny to me because from everything I knew, from the time I really started getting into wrestling and the remembrance of certain things around 84, 85. So I definitely knew a Bruiser. I knew the mystique of Bruiser. Bruiser was that guy, no matter where he went, he was Abdullah. You could go anywhere in this world and nobody would F with you.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately. And most companies were afraid to do business with him because if he didn't want to do it, there wasn't nobody in the locker room to make Bruiser do anything he didn't want to do.
Right.
No pun intended, he would go berserk.
Prime example, and I know this is off tangent, but the match between him and Lex Luger will always live in infamy.
Where he scared Luger out of the ring.
Scared and climbed the cage to get away from him.
Yes.
Yep. Hey. But getting back to the topic at hand, Gino Hernandez, where everybody loved Tully Blanchard as that shit talking heel that could bag it up. You wanted to punch him in the mouth, but nothing still could keep his mouth shut. This was Gino Hernandez. And another funny fact, him and Tully Blanchard were a tag team, and they were called the Dynamic Dudes before Gino and Chris Adams in Southwest Championship Wrestling. Gino, if he would have lived, he would have been one of the greatest wrestlers. I believe he was on that projection to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But with that being said, nobody. You can pick anybody. Even if you put Ming up against Bruiser, I'm putting money on Bruiser over Ming. And that says so much.
Ooh, that does.
That says so much. So I'm going Bruiser.
The most dangerous triple threat of all time. Bruiser Brody, Ming, Harley Race.
Good grief.
Throw Brock in there. Brock.
Yeah, Brock too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Sampson, who you got?
Gino Hernandez, at the age of 28, was a great ring technician. Understood psychology where most people don't get in until their 30s. And, life was just cut too short. And probably one of the original great promos in wrestling. You know what I mean? influential in that way in terms of how people learned how to talk and whatnot. The only drawback on him for me was the fact that he was so territorial. He never got to one of the big stages where he could really shine and where we could really see what he could be made of. I like Bear, I agree. You know, which we don't know, but we would love to believe that he would have blown up wherever he went if he ever got the opportunity at that, right? But then he got Bruiser, man. Like he's the original Wild Man. He's the berserker before the berserker. Husk. You know, like he's that guy. He influenced, you know, Aaron talked about Mick Foley. He's one of the reasons Mick Foley became a wrestler. Puerto Rico, Japan, you name it, just everywhere he went. He was Umaga before Umaga. He the list goes on and on and on. And I just think just based on influence alone, yes, Gino was great, but Bruiser just had so much more impact on the industry as a whole. And for that, I'm going Bruiser Brody.
Righty. Before we move on to Uncle Slam, which we already know Bruiser's going to be moving on to the next round, but we want to get everybody's take. I had a question that popped up. You all were talking about Gino. Do y'all think Gino, with what you were saying about at such a young age having the ring psychology down, do you think he was kind of that generation's Brian Pillman? How young and how just knowledgeable he was about how to do things?
It's a funny comparison, but it's a right comparison because they both were ahead of their time. They knew how to work the psychology.
Yes, that's what I mean. Not necessarily in ring work.
Have known that Gino was a family person unless you talked to his family. You would have thought he was that arrogant asshole of a heel that he portrayed. And no one would have ever known.
Okay. That popped in my head and I was like, I wonder, y'all are, some of the most knowledgeable people I know about wrestling. So that's why I like bouncing stuff off you. Uncle Slam, go ahead. Tell us who you got.
For me,
personally, normally. Who's going? Oh,
no, go ahead.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Normally, I'm saying, like, when I don't know much about stuff, I'm more of a statistic guy. I'm usually like numbers over feelings, that type of deal. And that would probably lean me more towards Gino, since he was so dominant and he had so many championships. But on this case, I'm going to go with Bruiser. I think a lot of what Aaron says applies. I think a lot of what Professor Bear and Simpson said applies to a lot of these guys. But as far as Bruiser being able to go other places, and whether it was Puerto Rico, whether it was Japan, and make money, I think he was a bigger star outside of this, WCCW or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was, that first, crazy guy, or, that, the wild man that everybody's kind of based some of their characters off of it. I think he was kind of like a prototype. And it also might be just because I watched The Dark Side of the Ring and I kind of, really enjoyed it. I'm saying? It got me really, like doing more research on like Bruiser Brody. So, call it, sentimental, but I'm going to go with Bruiser Brody on this one.
Well, I'm going to leave mine short and sweet. Bruiser Brody takes this all day. I really, really, really like Gino Hernandez. I like what Gino could have been. I think Gino could have been one of a modern day Ric Flairish type character, Tully Rick, in between there, something like that. And I think it would have worked, if he could have got a hold of being, in another company. It could have really worked. Like you said, he was really territorial. But yeah, it's Brody for me all day long. But Uncle Slam, I told you we need to do a profile on Bruiser Brody. It's an interesting thing. All righty. Here's what anytime, let's do it. Here's the next round. We've got brother versus brother and a king versus a wild man. So
okay, wait. Can I just say something real quick?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if anybody else will be in agreement, but I think we just need to move Brody to the finals.
I'm
Hey.
cool with that.
Hey, as much as I love Iceman and what
Same.
all you for Iceman, I'm no fool. Yes, we can move Brody to the final.
I think we got the first one picked out already. The first match, legend. They already picked it for us.
Hey, hey, it works that way sometimes. I mean,
As long as
I
we're
don't
all in
think
agreement, I mean, I don't see anybody arguing about it. So
I don't think I was going to say anything about it as much as I've liked learning about Iceman King Parsons. Yeah, again, it's not Brody, so Okay, well there we go. That equals that, and Brody is on to the finals. Badoom. All righty, so now we've got Kevin Von Erich versus Kerry Von Erich. So we got the barefoot guy versus the tornado. Who you who you got, Uncle Slam?
oh man, this is a tough one right here. Like I said, both of them were awesome. Both of them, you know what I'm saying, were the future. Like one had a great match with Flair, in front of 30, 40,000 people, but at the same time, he did lose it. Like 8 days later in Japan. The other one, like you said, was wrestling with 1 foot. He was doing he was the top of the sport, missing a leg, not missing like a toe or nothing, but he was at the highest level of wrestling.
Yep.
On 1 leg and still outperforming guys that had 2 legs. So I'm gonna have to go with the Texas Tornado on this one.
All righty, that's one for Kerry. Let's go with Mr. Sampson.
I always compare the Von Erichs to the Hearts. I apologize. It's just something because that's just the same. They're almost the same, but on different sides of the border.
Yeah,
with
no need to apologize for that. I get it.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
so a lot of my thinking really it's change the names. Brett is Kevin and Kerry is Owen. You know what I mean? That's the way I kind of look at the 2 brothers. But I think what, for me, I'm going to have to give it. I give it to Kevin just because it's a territorial title as well. That's the other thing I have to keep in mind. It's designated to one specific area,
True.
right? And everything. And he's a Von Erich, and that's his home, that's his territory, that's his backyard. It's a no-brainer for me in that sense. So that's why I'm going to lean, to Kevin on this.
all righty. That's 1-1 actually right now. Let's go with Professor Bear.
I've been debating this one because just like Sampson said, we're looking at who was the greatest world-class champion. And when I sit and look at it, the same argument that I use with Kevin and his father, I will use with Kerry and Kevin. I honestly think Kevin would out wrestle Kerry, but I guess the bigger thing is Kerry, to me, would reach down. Kerry had that thing about the fans that when he looked down and out, he would always pull something out of the fire. And I look at the match between him and Lawler. He legitimately beat Lawler. He just got robbed because of bleeding. And for everything that Kevin has accomplished, Kerry has accomplished equally, but on a bigger scale. So I got to go with Kerry.
All righty. That's 2 for Kerry. Mr. Rose.
Man, this is a hard one. Because you look at both of these wrestlers and they both personify what world-class championship wrestling was all about. Obviously it's a family affair down there. As Samson said, it's like the hearts of the South. It's the hearts of Texas.
No pun
And
intended.
right. And if you look at the numbers comparatively, I mean, jeez, I really don't know. Like, this is just one of those things, like Barrow's debating, I'm debating too, because you can pick either one and seriously have a great contender because they were both that good.
Yes.
But I feel like Kerry Von Erich was the one that was destined for stardom. He was the one that, in my eyes, was, almost bigger than WCCW, and had his life not tragically ended, he was going to have a very long career, I believe, in the WWF.
Mm-hmm.
So now Kevin Von Erich, you got to kind of look at the lineage. He's got sons and daughters who have wrestled too. That was, he has definitely, been that patriarch of the family since everybody else is gone. He turned into that patriarch of the Von Erich family, but I'm gonna go Kerry Von Erich. I gotta go Kerry Von Erich. And that's not like a 90-10, it's like 51-49 for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I totally get it because, and I agree with you. I think Vince was kind of prepared. I think Vince seen the writing on the wall with the Warrior, knew Hogan was kind of checking out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at first he brought Kerry in because Kerry had the look of the Warrior, kind of that good looking, good body, guy and everything like Vince likes and everything, but he was charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the fact that those demons came with him and everything, unfortunately, but I agree with you. He was the one out of all of them that was destined for superstar. But it was weird because David was supposed to be the best wrestler.
Right.
And Kevin was more of a high flyer in my eyes and everything,
right.
But he was great. He could do it all.
Yeah.
But then you had, Kevin, who was kind of a little bit of all of it mixed in. And it was like the only thing that I think kept Kevin back was his promos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was as good at promos. Now, I don't remember seeing too many of David's promos, but what I have seen, they weren't great either. But Kerry, of course, he could do the promos too. Yeah. So, that's going to catapult you a little bit too in everybody's eyes. And I didn't mean to cut in here. I guess I'm giving my opinion and everything. So I'm going with Kerry myself. Uncle Slam, take it away for us.
I'm going to join the crowd and go with Kerry on this one. Like I said, I don't think it was really too much of a shock on that one.
No,
but again, not. It was close. It was close. Yes. It's not like, it's not like, Kerry Von Erich's 1,000 times better than Kevin. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is 1 and 1A.
I mean, honestly, you catch me tomorrow and ask me the same question, I could easily say Kevin.
Oh, yeah. Same.
On a Friday night at the Sportatorium, if Kerry, Kevin, or David, and then Von Erich was in the main event, it didn't matter.
It was a sold-out house.
It's a sold-out house every night. And it was must-see. Well, I wouldn't say must-see TV, but it was must-see TV because not only were you going to get to see that main event with whoever, you also got to see the other two brothers on the undercard.
Yeah.
So it was money all the way around. It was just money, and they just Well, let me get the visual up here, but we have got Bruiser Brody versus Kerry Von Erich in the finals of the WCCW bracket. We will go ahead and let the negotiations start.
Say
Yeah, sorry guys.
negotiations.
The negotiations on who wins start, and we will let's go ahead and start back with you, Mr. Rose. Who you got? Kerry
Oh,
versus Brody.
oh. Okay. First of all, before I'm just buying myself time real quick before we get into it because I got to think on it before we get into it. You know, legendary commentator for WCCW, Bill Mercer, right?
Uh-huh.
His granddaughter was actually the voice of the Lexington Legends for a few years.
Oh
I
wow.
did not know.
Oh, that's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yep. So kind of a local tie there. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Mm,
Oh, wrong.
we're not
one,
there
guys.
yet.
No, we're not. Wrong one.
Okay. So as much as I want to get Brody in there, because I'm a Bruiser Brody mark. I mean, it is what it is. You kind of have to go Kerry Von Erich. I feel like, you know, in my mind, it needs to be Kerry Von Erich, but you know, if you do the numbers, if you look at the numbers, it's Kerry Von Erich all day long. If you look at the style of match it could be, and the particular the style outcomes you could see, you know, you could see Bruiser Brody coming in there and destroying Kerry Von Erich, and it could be a battle to the very end. Blood will be lost between these two. You know, that's the way you got to look at that match. I think in the end, though, it's Kerry Von Erich.
Ooh, Kerry Von Erich over Bruiser Brody. That's a bold statement from Mr. Rose.
I didn't want to based on the numbers.
It's
but,
hard. It's Brody, you know.
I know.
It's Brody. But I get what you're saying, because when you think WCCW, that's what you think is Von Erich.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at the end of the day. All right, Mr. Sampson, who you got, sir? We're about to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, guys.
This is what my crew's looking forward to, FYI, the next stuff.
That's all right. It'll give us a late rush. Late rush of viewers.
Yeah, I was trying to think if they ever fought each other, but they were more of a tag team, weren't they?
Yep.
Right? So they were always working together, goddamn. Pardon my language. Because that's how I was going to break it. Like, okay, if they ever fought, who won more, right? But I don't know that stat off the top of my head. Look, if we're thinking about it, like I said earlier, I would have to go with Kerry based on the fact that it's a regional title, right? Like, I mean, this is the one thing that I keep coming back to now. It's a regional title. It didn't expand beyond certain borders and land masses.
Right.
So, but then on the other hand, you got the guy who was one of the first people to employ doing less is more in wrestling, you know, and whatnot. So it's tough. It's really tough. But again, I think I'm going to go with Kerry because it is a regional title, and you know that's just really what it comes down to me for. Again, and very similar to Aaron, 51-49 either way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tomorrow morning I'll probably say a Bruiser. I don't know, but
right,
I'd have to go Kerry for this time and moment.
All righty, that's 2 for Kerry. Let's go with Uncle Slam.
All right, I'm gonna jump on the Kerry train here too. I feel like it has to be a Von Erich because it's WCCW. Like I feel like no matter where this was going, like it had to be a Von Erich one way or the other for some reason. Now I love Bruiser Brody and I respect him, and obviously watching the Dark Side of the Ring has made me like him even more. But as y'all have said so many times pretty eloquently, this is a regional thing. This is WCW. Like if we were talking bigger promotions, maybe someplace else, or who has the farthest reach, it might be a different story. But because we're talking WCCW in Texas, it has to be Kerry Von Erich.
All righty, that's 3. Kerry is going to win this, but we are going to go ahead and get Mr. Professor Bear's take on this. Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to simply say the King of Texas versus the King of Japan. I mean, or the King of Puerto Rico, or the King of the bull rope match, or the King of beating everybody asses across chairs and everything else. It is that simple. As much as I love Bruiser, will always be a Bruiser guy. It's Kerry. Kerry just the Von Erichs run Texas. No matter who, even if I even have to even say, baby, if I mention his name, it's still got to be a Von Erich, baby, because see, the Von Erichs always run Texas, baby. But the dream is around the world, but the Texas, baby, it's got to be a Von Erich.
There you go.
The argument about the regional title, it does stand true. This was a very hard company to do because of that fact that they stayed a territory for so long before they expanded that title to being called a world title and it was recognized as one. It made it very difficult putting people in here. But I just want to say that for all the Jimmy Jam Garvins of the tournaments like this, we end up with the Brodies and the Carries, so.
Why do I feel like that with some shade right there for some reason? I don't know why. Like, I feel like he's blowing us under the bus.
All I'm saying is, I know Jimmy Jam still flies planes. I don't want none of Jimmy.
No, I'm glad I don't get nowhere near planes to get on one. So, see you, Jimmy. I can't really say what you do, but I ain't a free bird. What's your excuse? But no, but yeah, we got Kerry Von Erich as the winner of the WCCW bracket. Before we move on, guys, is everybody kind of in agreement with this? Give me a quick thought, Mr. Rose.
This was a good tournament. Because I honestly felt like the early matches were actually could have been a little bit stronger. Those early matches were stronger than some of the semifinal matches. Especially when we got to Brody and Parsons. But you had Kerry Von Erich and Chris Adams, and that was a great comparison. Great matchup there. Brody and Hernandez, Fritz and Kevin. I mean, this ended up being a really good bracket, I think.
I think so too, Professor Bear.
Oh yeah.
Anything you change or anything like that?
No, I think it went the way it was. In my eyes, it should have went. And here's the beautiful part about it that I really love, that most of these guys got a chance to wrestle each other. Mm-hmm. We could actually go back and see matches from most of these guys and really get some real sense of how well they would do together and work and know the intricate parts of selling to make matches mean something with little. You didn't have to, and no disrespect to the modern wrestlers, but you didn't have to do 70 super kicks. You didn't have to do these outstanding long things. They could take a headlock and a clothesline and make magic from that.
A little disrespect.
Yeah. I 100% agree, and I know there's people out there, Professor Bear, that's going to call us old heads, but I don't care. Let them call me that. What do you got for us, Mr. Sampson? Anything you change about this bracket?
Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, I think you guys have more knowledge on WCCW than I do, and the little that I have, I applied to it, and it looks like what it should look like at the end of the day. You know, apart from the semifinal and the final itself, both those matches, you know, there's basically four winners there. Any of those four guys, or any of those three guys, you know, any of those three guys could be your champion, right? So that's the beauty of that thing. So there you go.
Uncle Slam, final thoughts?
Not really. Like I said, I kind of figured that it was going to be like a Von Erich at the end. So, I mean, it kind of went the way I thought it would. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't Pops, like, I knew it was going to be one of the Sons. The only person I thought might be able to upset was maybe Bruiser. So, yeah, I mean, tournament played out pretty much like I thought it was going to.
All righty. You know, I enjoyed it. It went a lot better than I thought it was going to. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm okay with Kerry being the champ there. I like Bruiser, and I love his story. And I'd love to do a profile on it, so be looking for that later on. Well, guys, we are going to move on quickly and swiftly into the WWF/E bracket. Before we get started, guys, I'm going to throw it up here on the screen. I'm going to get the same question from each of you. Is there anything about these brackets that you don't like or would change? We'll start with you, Professor Bear.
Yeah, definitely. How can you have a WWE bracket without Sean? And my big thing is, I don't know who I would replace Sean with, but I mean, when you're called Mr. WrestleMania for a reason, and you have just even the times where you were one of the biggest jerks in the business to one of the most beloved person in the business, and people still look at your stuff to this day. Yeah, I just think Sean should have made it somehow.
Unfortunately, again, trust me, you know me. You know me. I'm a Sean mark, but by going by my standards and sticking to it, so I wasn't, unbalancing the scale. He's only a four-time champion, and there's so many more ahead of him, which I agree. I think it's silly because he would have been probably at least a 10-time champion if he hadn't had to sit 4 years out. Just my opinion, especially with the way the championship was switching around during the Attitude Era and stuff. It was, I'm just saying, but I had to stick to my guns. But Mr. Rose, anything you would change, sir?
Well, this was the discussion we were having with my Discord group last night. Shout out to everybody in that group: Kelly, JT, Seeley, Jenny, all y'all. Hey,
come watch.
Oh, they're here. They're here.
Oh.
They're watching.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
One thing that I know, based on the number of title reigns, that's one of the things that you were talking about. But I also feel like there also needs to be a quality over quantity in that too at some point. And Bear, you might know where I'm going with this. One of the guys that screams WWF champion, Bruno Sammartino. He had an 8-year reign and a 4-year reign and held that title for 12 years. That is the confidence that they had in Sammartino to be the face of that company for such a long time. So I don't know if that was put into your I don't know if that was put into your ideas or not, but
I can honestly say it was not, because if it had, and it's no offense to them, I don't know that The Rock, Orton, Triple H would have made it. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Because and that's just being objective and looking at it quickly. Because there is the Shawns, the San Martinos, and the others like that and everything. So it was, like I said, I just had to, I found a thing. But that's the beauty of these tournaments is we can do it again and change the qualifications.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, San Martino yells, greatest of all time in terms of holding that title. Because of the quality title holds.
Yes.
He was selling out, and this was what JT was saying to me last night. He was selling out Madison Square Garden. Probably, I think at that time they were there monthly.
Yeah.
And he was selling it out.
That was their big territory, New York.
Mm-hmm.
And think about this too. Let me add this little caveat. They broke away from the NWA and they needed a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruno was the man.
Yep.
I agree that and that, like I said, we may just do another one. Maybe there's so many tournaments we can do like this. It's so
Can
much fun.
I just jump in here really quick on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Sampson. I was actually going to go to you next.
Thank you. I think the bracket's fine. I have no problem with it. That's my answer to that. But Aaron, did you guys ever question? And again, Bruno's an amazing champion, and I'm just kind of curious. Did anyone consider the fact that would Bruno have been successful anywhere else if he wasn't in New York?
I've asked that question.
Now,
I think
with the Italian
he would be over time. Now he wouldn't have been been right off the bat, been like super successful like that anywhere else. But I think he was one of those guys that he would grow on the people, but he wouldn't rise to stardom that quick too. But again, we're talking, World Wrestling Federation, and that was his home. So, I see what you're saying. If
you think about it, most of his reign was territorial. They went global with Junior, not with Senior per se.
Right.
So for that 12 years, and again, take nothing away from it. It's absolutely amazing. I'm not disparaging it in any sense. I'm just trying to bring that topic up as well. New York, Italian community, the ethnicity of it all, the Northeast, all of it, the Italians in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, you name it, Pennsylvania.
Right. It was
perfect for it. It's kind of like Von Erich had to be champion in Texas.
That's kind of the way that Vince Sr. played it. He had his star for every ethnic group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had the Pedro Moraleses. He had the,
he had the most ethnicity to deal with.
Right. Yeah. You're right. And not only that, a territory of New York City is much different than a territory of St. Louis.
And JT just kind of hopped in on the comment. He said the thing with that, New York City is arguably one of the toughest crowds to win over. He won over the toughest crowd for 12 years.
100%.
And one argument I will use is look at what Dusty did. Dusty, he was in the WWF and he still got over.
Yeah.
Dusty could have easily and by all rights, some people may say should have been a world champion there. So, and the way I look at Bruno has that, he had that charisma that he would have won people over. And some people just transcends over race, creed, everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bruno had that.
Yeah.
It just he was fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, he was just in that time, and he was there. He was wrestling's superstar before a lot of our modern day superstars.
Yeah, definitely.
And that right there, because of different times, is why I have a hard time calling a goat in any sport or
Right.
competition. Just because
Right.
it's the game is played so much different, but we won't get into that. Uncle Sam, you got anything to say about this before we head into the first match?
Um, I don't mind the bracket. Like, I think it's fine. Obviously, I'm not going to lose sleep over Shawn Michaels. Of course, everybody knows that. I do like the point about like Bruno San Martinez or whatever, because I mean, I don't know who I would take out, but I could see why you would put him in there, especially when you say quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And also the other question about would he have been as popular if he wasn't in New York? Given like where he was at and stuff. So I think y'all bring up a lot of really really good questions. That makes me think about stuff. Like would he have been as popular? Would he have kept the belt as long? Like if like would he got over in Texas? Like a Von Erich or whatever, or would he have just took a lot longer? So a lot of really good questions, but I'm okay with the bracket right now. But I would love to go back and redo it. Like I said, if you ask me in a couple weeks, man, I might have a different answer. Just depending on research and time or whatever. So yeah.
I agree. I agree. And yeah, that's why you just got to take it the way, you got to just enjoy it for what the time you can. But alrighty, guys, we're going to head into the first round, and these are going to be some tough matchups. Like I said, with the meat and potatoes of this, we're going to start on the left side, and we are going to go with a classic: John Cena versus the Viper, Randy Orton. Let's start with you, Mr. Sampson. Who you got?
John Cena.
John Cena.
I'm just going to keep it
Okay.
really simple. Like at the end of the day, when you look at all the names that are on that list, and there's some really influential names, there is no one except Cena, in my opinion, that's held that banner as top guy longer than anyone on the list. Now, some guys had bigger impacts. Some guys may have had, bigger impacts really quick, real fast. But if we're talking, like we just talked about it, consistency over or quality over or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're looking at a guy with a 10-year, he held that company. So just based on that alone and how he did it, considering that was the dead era of wrestling, in my opinion. Like it really truly was after the Attitude Era, after buying WCW, we went into the dark ages of wrestling again. And it's rebounded obviously, but yeah, to be able to carry the company through that, to leave the mark that he did with all that PG stuff that they took everything away from him, made him a PG guy, and to still carry it for 10 years, John Cena.
All righty. Let's see. Let's go Uncle Slam.
All right. This was a little bit tougher for me, like I said, because I'm looking at John Cena 17 times. You got Randy Orton 14 times. Obviously, they fought a ton, during the PG era or whatever. So we seen them go back and forth. But I'm gonna have to go with Cena for kind of the same reasons that Sampson said. His longevity. He was there when wrestling really had kind of fallen off after the Attitude Era, more of the PG era. He's always been consistent. He's the guy that they used to carry them when they didn't really have anybody else. I've never been a huge Cena fan, so for me to pick him over Orton, which I like Orton a lot more. Like I like his character. Like everything about Orton better than Cena. But if I have to be honest, Cena is that guy that not WCW, but that WWE needed at that time to carry him through. So Cena.
All right, let's 2 for Cena, and let's toss it off to Mr. Rose.
Ooh, jeez. This particular match, oh my god, was debated for about an hour last night.
Yeah, we're getting some. Randy Orton.
These are all my people.
That's all right. We got one Randy Orton from the Kelly Briscoe. We got I don't know how to read all these names, guys. James at Cena.
That's JT.
Okay, JT. Well.
Like I'm being threatened here. I don't know if you see this.
Sorry, girl. People are crying. Aaron, be careful. Look, do it again. Do it, Aaron. Longer than an hour.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't-
longer than an hour.
That's right.
Oh my
Alrighty.
gosh. Okay. I feel like this is one of those 51-49 moments for me. It really is. You know, you're looking at, you know, I feel like Randy Orton, for me, Randy Orton, I've always loved as a competitor a little bit more than John Cena. John Cena, of course, you know, as mentioned by Samson, you know, John Cena did, you know, he through that dead era of wrestling, he did keep it going. You know, he was that one. I do love me personally, though. I mean, again, it's a 51-49. I gotta put it out there for Orton.
Oh, 50 I don't know if you've seen that, Aaron. Aaron, you're not their favorite bald guy anymore.
I think she jumped to conclusions. Good grief.
Randy. I don't know what's going on, guys, but something is going on. But you went with. Did you go with Orton?
I'm going with Orton. Yeah.
Oh, he went with Orton. Okay. All righty.
Again, it was a 51-49. You know, it's not
right.
It's not unanimous by any means.
Who have I not gotten to yet? I'm sorry, I got lost
Professor
in
Bear?
the comments. Professor Bear, hit it up.
I'm gonna make this quick and simple. I'm gonna steal a line from the tribal chief. Orton, you're always number 2.
No.
And Cena is always number 1. And hey, y'all can come at me. I don't have it. Come at me, because the truth will always set you free. Cena. And I don't even like Cena.
Bear.
See, I'm the same way. Like, I don't even care for Cena, but I have to give him respect. It's kind of like Shawn. Like, I don't like Shawn Michaels, but I give him respect.
Right.
I was just trying to make it interesting.
Let's see what we can make happen. All righty. Yeah, I mean, Cena's got this.
You got to put that one up there.
Oh, I will. Oh, what we got more coming up here? Let's see what we got. Kelly, you have a buddy. That's from Jennifer. JT said that's right. 3-1, Kelly.
Bears
Kelly said Bear's my favorite bald guy now. Sympathy vote for Horton.
All right, J Mac, please just make it interesting for me so we can be 3-2.
I love these.
You know, here's my thing. As far, I think with both of these guys, the match you have always seen for the most part is the match you're going to get. It's kind of a rinse repeat type system, which is not a bad thing. They found their formula and it works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, either one of them after 10, 15 years is going to show you anything very new. It's going to be the same nostalgic old stuff. At the end of the day, John Cena is probably one of the most unparalleled people I have ever seen on the microphone. You know, when he tore into Roman Reigns and told him it's a promo, son, you got to learn how to cut one.
Yep.
I was just like, oh man. And you know, you could feel the realness in that, and it was real, but it was just, John Cena has always had that ability to talk. John Cena is a super duper strong guy. Anybody who can almost pick Edge and the Big Show up is way stronger than I ever want to mess with. So, you know, and as far as carrying the company, yes, he carried it. I find it awful funny that John Cena was the PG era champion, yet he does more R-rated movies, and The Rock was in the Attitude era, and he does all the PG movies. So, you know, figure that one out. It just, I gotta make it interesting, because overall, oh my God. I can't. I mean, I can't. It's got to be Cena. I mean, it really does. He's more of the company guy. As much as the only thing that I don't think Orton had was great promo skills. And that's that. I got to go with that. But anyways, let's see. Hold on, we got some more chats rolling in. Stick with your gut, J Mac. I tried, man. I tried. Don't hate me. I hate a world where JT wins.
This was the debate last night.
So the Discord, well, hold on. I didn't see that. What did that say? Do the right thing. Oh, so they were waiting on me. So did I do the right thing, guys? Let me know. I don't know. I'm so confused.
Well, I mean, for some people, yes, you did.
Okay. Whoever I did the right thing for, hit the like, subscribe, and all that stuff. All righty. So we have got John Cena moving on. Let me get I'm so bamboozled right now. It's a good time. All righty. We've got another classic. We have got Triple H and The Rock, and I'll be honest with everybody, just my initial, I'm gonna go ahead and give my vote too, but my initial reaction was as much as I love these two for what they did. Speaking of Jimmy Jam Garvin, he's on TV as a free bird, but why's he got to be involved in everything tonight? But Triple H and The Rock, looking back on it, I don't like it as much as I used to. It was cool at the time, but looking back on it, I'm just like, when it's not as special as I guess I thought it was back then, is what I'm trying to say. So for me, this is kind of a match that, I could have replaced, Triple H with a Bruno and The Rock with like a, I don't know, HBK, the true greatest champion of the WWE of all time. But anyways, we won't talk about that. But now this is just a match that I could have gotten either way with. It's hard for me, but I have to give this one to Triple H just because of the fact that he stuck around, he stuck with it. And I'm not dogging on The Rock or anything, man. You give me $300 million to do a movie, and I'm gonna leave my job too and go do a movie. But so I don't blame him for that. But I think as far as wrestling goes, and that's what we're talking about, Triple H stuck around. He dug his toes in. He stuck through it, through all the punishments and stuff and everything, and made himself one of the greatest heel champions of all time. Do I think he was great as a comedic good guy? Yes, but I didn't want to see him as champion like that. So for me, it's going to be Triple H on this one. Let's see. Samson, give us yours. He's like, man, I got stuff in my mouth, man. Quit.
I apologize.
You're fine, bro. You're fine.
Where are you? Where is everyone from?
I am from Kentucky. Yeah, me and Uncle Sam are from Kentucky.
Kentucky.
If the accent didn't give it away,
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to preface while I'm eating. It's dinner time here on the West Coast.
Oh,
Oh,
West
okay.
Coast.
Okay.
I'm in Vancouver.
yeah.
We're Eastern time here.
Okay, I was thinking when he said Canada, I'm thinking like he's up north, man.
No.
Like, I forget that's how that there's that whole other side of Canada over there.
Oh yeah, the best side of Canada, the West
best
Coast.
Did you say
man.
Vancouver?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Love Vancouver.
Thank you. Anytime, man, come out. Let me know. Open invitation
Yes.
to you all.
We will connect after this.
Absolutely.
Unsubscribed.
Absolutely. All right.
Come on,
so,
man. I
Triple H.
got unsubscribed. Who you got between The Rock and Triple H?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. My argument is this, okay? When it's Triple H for me all day long because the consistency and The Rock and Stone Cold work so well together because if you think about it, they appeal to both sides of the fandom in the company at that time. You had the working class fans who all loved the, Stone Cold. Then you had all, the pop culture people loving The Rock with the Versace and the brand names and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you had all these both segments of those guys. But what makes Triple H stand out here he was one of the last real bad guys, in my opinion, in terms of chasing the title, like the bad guy holding the title. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the last original of those kind of characters. So for me, it's Triple H.
You wanted somebody to come along and beat him. By
Well,
gosh.
or yeah, either absolutely, right? Because he was that guy. He was Inspector Gadget's Doctor Doom or whatever that guy's name was. You know what I mean? He's just like that guy.
Yep.
He was
Mr.
a better
Rose.
champion than a chaser.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Mr. Rose.
I agree with Samson here. You know, Triple H is the guy that you were cheering for to be beat. You know, you wanted that baby face to take the title off of him, whether it was The Rock, whether it was Steve Austin, and Triple H was so good at what he was as a champion that, you know, Triple H takes this one for me for sure.
All righty, Professor Bear.
I got to be real with y'all. I didn't see this coming because I could have sworn. I think the difference is The Rock is entertainment, Triple H is wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I think everybody loves The Rock and his entertainment, when you want to watch wrestling, you would rather watch a Triple H match versus a Rock match. Mm-hmm. And I mean, besides the big one with Austin and Hogan, name a Rock match that you actually go back and watch.
Ooh.
Yeah, and again, love The Rock, he's super entertaining, but when it comes to wrestling, Triple H, and I think this is something about Triple H that doesn't get brought up with him enough. You can tell his knowledge of wrestling because he still used the psychology. Mm-hmm. Even when he went to being a face or a heel, he's quick to use psychology anyway. Even when DX were in their popular funny thing, he used psychology to keep people in it. So this was never a battle. And if I had to take someone out, I would have took The Rock out because Rock barely held the title. I think his longest reign was 3 months, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the man's known more for his segments than he is his matches.
Exactly.
Right.
Uncle Slam.
At first this was kind of tough for me, but then after listening to a lot of people's arguments, you know, or debates, it made it a lot easier for me. I love The Rock. I love his promos. I think he was definitely more entertaining than Triple H. I think we remember more of his promos and what he said than probably most of his matches, kind of like what Professor Bear said. The only thing I question about Triple H that like makes me give a little pause is because his relationship with the McMahons. You know, you kind of married into the family. I feel like that kind of gave you a little leverage or kind of gave you a kind of little heads up when it came to getting certain benefits. I'm not going to say all of it, but I feel like some of it it definitely played a little part into it. But when it came down to it, Triple H was there a lot longer. I think if The Rock had been there longer, he would have been bigger than Triple H. But I remember The Rock more for him and Stone Cold than I do Triple H and The Rock, even though I know they did go at it. But because of like longevity, I'm going to go with Triple H on this one.
And let me say this real quick. Honestly, even if The Rock would have stayed longer, he would have definitely been bigger than Triple H as far as popularity. But when you go to what Triple H done, even with marrying the boss's daughter, he used that. He used that to his advantage to make more people hate him and draw that That's another point of Triple H that does not get talked about enough. He knew how to hit your spot where you cared, whether
True
you were
cerebral assassin.
big wrestling fan. He knew how to hit that button. If
Yep.
you were just mad because you thought he married the boss's daughter and got everything, he knew how to hit that button. He knows how to. That's why he's called the cerebral assassin, because he used everything. And again, if internet wasn't around, I always call him the modern day Ric Flair. He would have been as big as Rick if the internet wasn't around to give spoilers and give things away.
I agree. I 100% agree. Well, guys, Triple H moved on to the next round because
Was that a clean sweep for the Triple H?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That was
first
shocking.
one.
Which kind of surprises me, honestly and truthfully. But like everybody's touched on, yeah. When you think of wrestling, you think of Triple H more, and when you think of entertainment, you think of The
The
Rock
Rock.
more. All righty, moving on to the other side, guys. We're going to start at the bottom this time. We're going to leave the best, the first round for the last. I figure that'll be the longest debate in this round. So we're going to go with Brock Lesnar and Bret Hart first. And, because, I care and I love my co-host. He's one of my best friends, so I'm going to let him go ahead and start this debate
I knew this was coming.
of how bad he knows that Bret Hart's going to get slung around the ring by Brock Lesnar. So go ahead, take it away.
I knew this shit was coming, and I prepared for it. Now, I came up with lots of arguments, lots of debates, statistics, and all that good shit. Then I threw all that shit out the window because I'm sorry, when it comes down to it, I love Bret Hart. He is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But it doesn't matter. When it comes to Brock freaking Lesnar, there's just no way he's going to beat him and shit. I mean, there's just I've tried every argument I can, and I knew that this was, like I said, I knew this was coming, but I just don't see it. I don't see him out wrestling him. Brock is a hell of a wrestler. Hell, he was he was a collegiate wrestler and shit. So Bret doesn't have an advantage there. Strength, he doesn't have an advantage and shit. I just don't see where Bret. He might cut a little better promo, but that's it, and that's very this killed me. But yeah, Brock Lesnar. I hate even saying the words, but yeah, Brock.
I love it.
I hate it. I hate it.
Reality. Look, if Sean didn't make it, Bret ain't getting past first round. Mr. Rose, go ahead.
Who? So. If you take Slam's logic, you can say all day long that it would be Brock Lesnar if you take that logic. I'm gonna approach it a different way. I feel like Bret Hart, and I'm not a big fan of either of these two, honestly. Okay. I like Bret a little more over Brock personally, but I feel like as a wrestling fan and as someone who has been a part of the business in a sense, watching Bret Hart wrestle, I feel like he was the one that whoever he wrestled against, their matches were good. Bret Hart always had a good match. I never saw him have a bad match. I never saw him injure anybody. He was one of those wrestlers that, that the office was trusted with, and I feel like his title reigns maybe meant just a little bit more than Brock Lesnar's. When you look at, for me, WrestleMania 10 stands out because, he had his match against Owen. lost to Owen, and you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, if he's losing to Owen, what's he going to do to what's Yokozuna going to do to him? And he has that match where he defies the odds against Yokozuna and captures that title at WrestleMania 10. That stays with me. That's one of those matches that stays with me. For me, I remember Brock's first one. I guess it was his first title win at SummerSlam, and it was like you kind of in 2002, right? I think. And
so, yeah, around that time.
You kind of remember it, but I could remember that Bret Hart match, to the very end. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going Bret Hart.
Oh, okay. So we got a Hart and we got a Lesnar, and the Hart guy didn't go with Hart. Let's see what the other Hart guys got. Mr. Sampson.
I watched Bret Hart. The reason I'm sitting here with you guys today, the reason I have what I have in this realm of broadcasting and what have you in podcasting is because of Bret Hart. He's the reason I became a wrestling fan. He was the reason I discovered wrestling. I didn't, like you see the boxing gloves behind me. I'm a boxing guy as well. And I was more of a boxing fan before I even knew what professional wrestling was. Until that fateful afternoon where I saw Bad News Allen getting jumped by the Karachi Vice and these dudes wearing rags on their head because they were all bloodied up came and saved him. I was hooked. That being said, Brock. Right?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Damn. Nice switch.
Wow.
Nice switch. Oh my God, he had us.
Yeah, so why do I go Brock Lesnar? I'll tell you why I'm going to go Brock Lesnar, because at the end of the day, and I'm not looking at who Bret is today because it really makes me sad at what he's become in terms of a public figure, in terms of his interviews and stuff. Like he needs to stop living his gimmick. And I still love the man. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Bret Hart. I just don't like what he's become. It's kind of like going to go see Bob Dylan now. It's not the same as the album, right? It's like that. It's just what he's become.
Jaded, hadn't he?
He's become jaded, and it sucks for me to say it. But I have to, I have to be professional to myself and accept what it is. Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, if you think about it, he is a pure athlete. That's one thing that he has going for him in this particular matchup, in my opinion, is his NCAA background, his championship accolades, his UFC accolades. At the end of the day, what I had to decide this upon was this one question in my own head. Who would be remembered longer in the history, the annals of history, Brock or Bret? And it's Brock. And I would have to say his second run with the WWE was probably his best run before he even left, in my opinion. Wow. Because that was kind of, that's why I look at it. That's my take. So on that note, I'm going Brock just because of that.
All right. So we got 2 Lesnars, 1 Hart, Professor Bear.
So I try to break things down to when guys are in their prime and what they accomplish and what they can accomplish. Then I try to take my own personal opinion about how I feel about people. I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm so ready for him to get the hell out of the business. I'm so ready for him to go.
This Saturday, 3 p.m.
Brock
Watch it on pay-per-view.
Brock is such a... I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be a fool to sit here and not acknowledge what type of athlete Brock is. Brock is an amazing athlete. He's a vicious person. If there is the closest thing to a modern day Bruiser Brody is Brock Lesnar. Now, with that being said, Bret Hart could have a great match with a damn broomstick. Bret could break it down no matter what. And Bret is the type of athlete, he can switch his style. He does not have to have the same match. He may do similar spots, but the matches can be totally different. And I look at legitimacy where I know Brock is a killer, but Bret made you feel he was legitimate. No matter what he did, Bret could go. I mean, Bret was just the wrestler's wrestler. With that being said, there's no other choice but fucking Brock Lesnar. I mean, let me say it like this. As much as I do not care for Brock Lesnar always puts the business ahead of his feelings. He always does. And when I personally don't think he does, he does. And you can tell in matches when Brock is enjoying working with someone, Brock will sell for them. He will get them over like crazy.
I mean, and you're kind of seeing that with Oba right now.
Exactly.
Well, this is it. And he did the same thing with Drew McIntyre as well when he took his hat and put it on his own chest. You know what I mean?
Styles, he made AJ look like $1 billion. Daniel Bryan, even hell, Finn Balor, when that was a squash match, he even made him look good. And my point to it is, as much as Bret is such an amazing athlete, wrestler, Bret got too caught up in his feelings and thought Bret is real. Brock would just eat him alive. And even if he tried to out wrestle him, Brock would kill him on the mat.
Yep. NCAA background.
Hey, it is. Hey, it is Brock.
He said it's Brock.
If I could add something really, really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one thing about Bret Hart that I think a lot of people may forget is that he became champion and face of the company in a very difficult time. This is post Hogan, right?
The whole business was down.
Post Warrior, everything, right?
Post steroids.
Well, pardon?
Post steroids.
Steroids. All that as well, right? So he took the company on at a time where that was really hard. And to be able to pull it off and to do it, and even have Hogan come back and realize that was a bad call at that time at WrestleMania 9, to turn around and put it back on him, you saw the consistency he brought to the business, at least to the Fed at that time. From until Hogan blew up with the NWO, you could see the consistency again starting to kind of build.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna actually build off of what you just said, because my argument was, I mean, it's obvious Brock Lesnar has moved on. He's 3-2 and I say 2 because I'm voting for Bret Hart. And I know that's crazy, me being a Shawn Michaels fan and all, but I am voting for Bret Hart. When we're talking about one of the greatest WWF/E champions of all time, Bret Hart's name is up there. I'm not saying he's necessarily the best, but his name is arguably top 7 all time. You could argue that top 10 definitely. And the reason I'm going to say this is I go back to my argument with him and Sean. And it's my argument of why Sean should have been on this list. No other two wrestlers ever carried a company while battling over the secondary title.
Mm.
And Sean and Brett did.
Mm.
You know, Hogan was leaving, like everybody was saying. It was switching over. Yes, Brett was going to start moving into being world champion, but even Sean, as the Intercontinental Champion, was hounding Brett all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Those two carried the company while doing their thing with the Intercontinental title. Brock is a beast. I don't like the fact that Brock. I get why he's a part-time wrestler. He's earned that, but I don't know. I don't like the coming in every now and then destroying stuff. I get to be the champion and then I leave. I like the consistency of Bret Hart. That's why I picked Bret Hart. But you know, I don't know. It was real hard. But the whole time I was thinking about this, two words kept coming to mind, and I'll leave it at this: Bill Goldberg. But
Oh my God. Shut up, man. I can't stand you. I swear. I cannot stand you.
anyways, yeah, Brock Lesnar moved on over Brett, but I would have to give it to Brett. All right, let's get on to this next round. It's getting a little bit late, and I don't want to keep you gentlemen anymore. What we have to. So we're going to the meat and potatoes of this first round. We have got Hulk Hogan versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And yeah, let's start with Professor Bear this time.
So I'm gonna make this quick. If anybody knows anything about me, I never, ever, ever make any
One for
hesitant
Stone Cold.
about how much I despise Hulk Hogan. As a kid, as a young adult, as an old man that I'm becoming, I still don't like Hogan, not going to like Hogan, and don't care if you don't like me for saying that. Now, with all that being said, I'm going with Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Wow.
We took a big roundabout right there. All right, Uncle Slam.
To me, this was a lot tougher than probably some of the other ones because I look at it as like their impact and them as champ. Now, I'm not like nobody will ever say that Hogan was the greatest wrestler. Obviously, he's not. That's not what he was there for. He was there because he had charisma. The fans loved him. Blah blah blah. Almost saying Stone Cold was actually more of a wrestler, but he was also great on the mic. I look at one as the past, and then one as was more of the present or whatever. So both of them had a great impact. I don't think he would have Stone Cold if there wasn't for Hogan, and I don't think wrestling would have survived if it might have still survived, but it wouldn't have been where it is now if it wasn't for the Stone Cold and like Vince McMahon, the Attitude Era, pretty much. So to me, this is a little bit tougher and stuff, but I'm going to go with Stone Cold because I just didn't think, like I said, man, it comes down to actual wrestling and having a match because like if you put them both on the mic, I think Stone Cold is a little bit better than Hogan. I think when it came to wrestling, I think Stone Cold would pretty much crush him. He was a 10 times better wrestler. I don't know. I feel, it might have been because, I was a teenager at the time. I was more drawn to Stone Cold, and Hogan was more when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I'm going to go with Stone Cold on this one.
All righty, Stone Cold. We got a 1-1, Mr. Rose.
I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Steve Austin became a star at a time when the future of the WWE was kind of uncertain because Hulk Hogan had left for WCW. Stone Cold became that star and became one of the biggest merchandise sellers of all time.
Yep.
And
Still doing it.
Still doing
Yeah.
it, yeah. And you know, to me, just hearing that pop that he would get when that glass shatters, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, period.
Wow. All righty. When you hear the glass hit your ass, Mr. Sampson.
Mr. Sampson. Okay.
I want to
Hulk
talk
Hogan.
to Sampson.
Yes, sir. You know what? Right off the bat, my pick is Hogan because throughout this whole, even with WCCW and everything that we be talking about here, Brody did this for the industry. So and so did this for the industry. Hogan changed the industry not once but twice. Hate him, love him, whatever the case may be. And that's the beauty of growing up as a wrestling fan when myself and Bear did, at least. And I'll include you guys, but I don't know if that was the case or not. That's why. But our heroes were our heroes still. It was only until the internet came that most of our heroes, we saw what they were. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
Right? In that kind of context. And the beauty of that is, though, guys, by that point, we were already adults, so it didn't break our heart as much. Right? But Hogan changed the industry not once, but twice. And everything that happened in WWE was because of Hogan changing the industry again when he went over to WCW and NWO. That forces Vince's hand to change his logic and his way of thinking, getting rid of all the gimmicks, getting rid of the garbage man and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the only thing that really stopped from that era was The Undertaker in terms of the gimmicks, right? Yeah. So, I mean, because of that.
But even it had to morph.
But that's what I'm saying. But, that's what puts The Undertaker and Chris Jericho, in my opinion, complete tangent on a whole different level, because those guys have been able to reinvent themselves over and over and over and over again and stay consistently relevant in the industry. But just for the fact that Hogan changed the industry, he goes over.
And to go, and I'm not saying this because he's one of my favorites, because once it set in, he never had to change it either. Shawn Michaels was that way too. Once he found that Heartbreak Kid gimmick, it never had to really evolve anything more. Just maybe the outfits got a little different or something, but other than that, it just never. Bret Hart was kind of like that too. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And to your point, Hogan, you could almost say that Hogan was responsible for the golden era of the WWE and the Attitude Era of the WWE, even though he wasn't even working for the WWF at the time, because of the fact, it was just like you said, the NWO stuff that came around that kind of just catapulted Vince to say, we got to do something different because they're more of a realistic TV. The difference is they just went further with it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, I apologize. There's just one more thing that just came to my mind. If you think about it, everyone's been talking about nepotism, Triple H, and all that sense here tonight, right? And that's fine and dandy. But think about it. He was already with Steph when he took all the shit for the curtain call.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one who got punished.
Yep.
Fair? But if that didn't happen, then Stone Cold wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's almost like the Cosmos, pardon the Carl Sagan reference here, but everything had to align in order for all of this to happen, if you think about it. It's like the creation of humanity, right? Yeah. The right particles had to fall down onto the planet in order for it all to begin. And it almost feels, now that you look at the big picture, this had to happen, that had to happen, this had to happen, that had to happen in order for us to be sitting here tonight.
You're right. Yeah, and it's crazy how it all unfolded and everything. It really is. But yeah, my choice is I got to go Hogan over Austin. I love Austin, and as much as I think there wouldn't be an Austin if there wasn't a Hogan. At least the Austin we know. Now maybe that's a good thing because maybe he wouldn't have gotten injured. I don't know. The what ifs could go on forever, But based on just what I know and what is relevant, Hogan had so much more of an impact on the overall business. And that's why I've got to give it to him. So to me, Hogan goes over. I seen the look on Mr. Aaron's face over there. He was not happy. He's like, oh no, I can't believe he did this to me. Alrighty, guys, we're going to the last few matches here. We got Cena versus Triple H, Hogan versus Lesnar. Let's start with Professor Bear on this one.
Which one we're going with first?
Oh, sorry, Cena Triple H.
Again, this is kind of for me. If I look at it from the pure wrestling standpoint, I would definitely take Triple H, but this is more about the overall and not just the wrestling. And I know people give Cena crap about his 5 moves of doom and everything, but Cena was not that. He wasn't as terrible as people give him crap for. And it boils down to, when I think WWE, who's one of the first names that come to mind? I mean, it's the Thug. It's Cena.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
No,
Kelly said Triple H, and then JT said, "Here we go again." But you said Cena, sir?
yeah.
All righty. Let's go with Mr. Rose.
I told myself that there are a couple different scenarios here. And again, we discussed this last night. If it was Randy Orton and Triple H, I'm going Triple H. If it's Cena and Triple H, I'm going Cena. But barely. But barely.
Aaron, think about it.
But barely. I mean, I don't. Well, I'm thinking because this is killing me.
Come on, y'all get in here with the comments. Help sway him one way or the other. Come on.
I mean, again, there's one thing. There's one thing we got to remember. You know, like Triple H's heel runs as champion were absolutely amazing, because it was one of those things where you're just like, who is going to be the one to take down Triple H? And, you know, it was always like, is it going to be Stone Cold? Is it going to be The Taker? Is it going to be...
We discussed it last night. Our friendship is on the line, Aaron.
Holy
we thought about it last night, Aaron. The choice was made. Ours isn't, Aaron.
Oh my gosh. What's funny is, like, JT's calling for Cena, Kelly's calling for Triple H.
And the one who took down Triple H was John Cena.
Jeez.
Oh, so who did you pick, sir? I'm sorry.
I'm still.
You're still debating. Okay.
So, like I said, Triple H, you know, you wanted to chase him down. Who was going to be the one to take the title? You know, Undertaker, Stone Cold, Rock, you know, Jericho. You know, you had all those guys that, you know, who could take down Triple H, and those matches were memorable. Especially with all the clusters that happened in all those matches, because he was affiliated. He was affiliated with the corporation, you know. So in this case, you know what? I've been like wrong this entire time. I'm gonna continue to be wrong. Maybe let's go Triple H.
Oh, Triple H.
Wow.
Boom. Triple H got a mark over Cena. All right. Let's see. Who have we not gone to yet? Let's go with Samson.
Longevity, flagship, John Cena.
I seen that coming.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Uh,
look, I'm a Triple H guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when watching wrestling with the family, they hated me because I was a Triple H fan. Even though everybody watching together knew what we were watching, I was still despised because I like Triple H and I love Triple H. But John Cena, at the end of the day, like I said, he came in at a time where he had to be PG. He didn't have the tools that The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H even had to work to get the crowds over, to have people tuning in. He really had to sell it to the kids again. Where we're going back to 1984, but it's 2004 sort of a deal.
Yep.
And that's basically what he basically did. Make a Wish Foundation. SummerSlam, when it was held in Vegas, you walk into that stadium, he wasn't even on the card. 40 to 50% of that crowd was green. So that just, it says it all for me. It has to be John Cena if we're just racing it on certain criteria.
Right.
If I'm picking from the heart, it's Triple H.
I totally get it, and I appreciate objectivity here, because that's what makes it interesting. You really got to stop and think about it. Let's see what some of these comments said. No debate again. The one who took down Triple H was Cena. When Cena went to Raw, he tapped him out at Mania and beat him at Backlash. Let's see. Our friendship remains, my friend. Triple H reteamed with Shawn because he couldn't beat John. I agree with that. Shawn had to carry him all through his career, didn't he? Let's see. John Cena can't wrestle. There you go. See, how would you know? I mean, honestly, Kelly, how would you know? Because you can't see him. Ha ha. See what I did there? But I'll be here next week too. All righty, guys. Let's see. Let's see. Uncle Slam's next. Let's see what we got.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Professor Bear.
No, I was going to make sure he didn't forget you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. It's a Cena versus Triple H. I love Triple H as a heel. He's definitely one of my favorite. He almost brings back, besides when he was kind of babyface with DX and stuff. Like, he reminds me of kind of like one of those old school heels, like kind of like the $1 Million Man or like Mr. Perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was never really a good guy. He was always more of a bad guy. That being said, for the same reasons that Samson said it, as far as being a flagship, as far as being longevity, being there when they needed him, I got to give it to John Cena. I mean, he carried the WWE like when they needed him. So, yeah, Cena.
All righty, so that's 3 Cenas. So Cena is definitely going over Triple H this round. I'm going to give my opinions, but let me catch up on the chat here, because this is classic stuff here. 5 moves of doom. His opponent carried him every single time. Period. Let's see. Has anything I said was wrong? Look, when you're talking about Shawn Michaels and you're talking to him in a positive way, you don't say nothing wrong, I promise. Especially when it comes to carrying Triple H. But let's see. Yes, everything you said has been wrong, JT. Shawn Michaels carried Triple H. Yes, I agree. That's another W for the good guys.
Triple H carried Shawn because he was drunk most of the time. So who got him count to count?
Yeah.
He'll be back sometime too. All righty, guys. So we have got, I'm picking Cena. I hate to say it. I love Triple H. I'm a Triple H guy. I agree. I believe he was kind of like the modern day Ric Flair. I think he, do I always agree with Triple H's tactics? Do I always agree with Triple H? No. Do I think Triple H loves wrestling? Do I think Triple H has a good mind for wrestling? Yes. Um, Cena, I think, kind of. I think he loves wrestling for what wrestling done for him, but Cena strikes me, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but he strikes me as the type of person that if he could have done something else and made the same amount of money, he'd have done it. If that makes
Isn't that
sense.
what isn't that what he's doing now though?
Yes, but I think he'd have done it a lot younger. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that he doesn't love wrestling, but I don't know. I could be 100% wrong. I feel like Triple H is maybe a little more vested in the business long term than Cena was. Cena carried the company. Cena was, the guy for a long time, but yeah, I gotta give it to Cena. He carried it when a lot of people didn't want to even watch. So I'm going John Cena. All right, we are going to flip over real quick to the next side, and this one's going to be the Incredible Hulk Hogan versus the Beast Brock Lesnar. Let's start off with Samson.
Yeah, I mean, let's speed this along, man. Hulk Hogan all the way for me, just for the fact again, he changed the industry. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, I mean, neither one was like, a super, super technician in the ring or anything. But if we're going to think about long term, who are people going to remember, Hogan or Lesnar? It's a close one. But if we're talking wrestling, it's Hogan.
Okay. That's one for Hogan. Let's go with Professor Bear.
Let me tell you something, brother. There's only one. There's only one. And that's the amazing Hulk Hogan, brother.
All right, we got two Hulks. Let's see. Let's go with Uncle Slam.
I'm gonna pile on and say Hogan. I just like, as much as I like Brock, Hogan, kind of like everybody said, I mean, he changed wrestling twice. He changed it when he came to WWE, he changed it when he went to NWO, which basically sparked the Attitude Era. So it's Hogan.
Yeah, it was an Attitude Area too. Just watch any DX match. They pointed to the Attitude Area.
I know, all the time.
All righty, guys. So I think it's pretty set. No, wait a minute, Aaron, Mr. Aaron.
Yeah, you're trying to skip that poor man.
It's settled. He's going.
Can
He's got
because it's not going to matter.
Right.
FYI, Brock Lesnar actually did beat Hulk Hogan one time.
Touche. This is true.
Made him pass out from a bear hug.
Yeah.
Brother.
I mean, when you look at both of them, I mean, Hogan is going to have that more lasting effect. I don't want to vote Hogan because honestly, I thought Stone Cold was going to take him out in the first round. I'm a Stone Cold guy.
His whole bracket's been jacked up.
Oh, he got killed. Just this right there. So throw me down for Hogan.
All righty. Well, I think it's pretty much sealed because I'm going for Hogan too over Lesnar. And it ain't got nothing to do with anything other than just, again, impact on the business. Hogan, he was Hogan. As much as I don't agree with Terry Bollea in a lot of things, Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan.
Look, can I say this real quick?
Yes, sir.
Kelly, I'm with you on this one. I can't believe
over here.
I cannot believe Lesnar got swept. I would have never thought that one.
All righty, let's catch up here. Kelly's JT says 4-1. 4-1 win for JT.
Jeez.
Now Triple H is head of creative. Total L. Aaron, you're a good person for giving Kelly these sympathy votes.
Wow.
Kelly says Lesnar, and I believe we know who's winning the tournament.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, possibly because this last one's going to be, pretty. Yeah, like I said. All right, so we've got John Cena versus the immortal Hulk Hogan. So we got the never seen 17 versus the immortal one. Aaron, who you got?
Man, you're killing me here. Um,
Balls.
you know, I don't think we would see a modern day WWE without Hulk Hogan. Um, Hulk Hogan was the one that ushered in the glory days of the WWE, WWF at the time, especially when you're looking at like the collabs with MTV. You had that whole rock and wrestling connection. Um, John Cena was the one that kept it going in terms of modern day. When it comes to quality over quantity, I would give it to Hogan. When you look at quantity over quality, I think you go Cena. Um, I don't. I don't think the WWF, WWE would exist the way it does without Hulk Hogan. So I'm going Hogan.
Okay. We got a Hogan. Let's get caught up on the chat here before we go to the next person. This panel is unbelievable. What did Jack Nicholson say in the Batman movie? This town needs an enema. JT said Cena, and Miss Kelly said Hogan. So we've got a Cena and a Hogan in the audience. Let's go with Uncle Slam.
So we got Hogan and Cena. This is really tough because I think both of them have lasting impacts. I think both of them did a lot for the sport. I think both of them helped the sport when it was down and kind of a low point. But I guess the only way I can really make this decision is I'm going to say Hogan because Hogan laid the foundation. So, Hogan had to walk so that Cena could run, pretty much, is what I'm going to say. If there was no Hogan, then there could not be any Cena. So I have to give it to Hogan just because, it's been how many years later and we're still talking about the guy?
Right.
I mean, John Cena's retired and, we talk about it a little, but still, we don't talk about what we do to Hogan. And I don't think in 20 years, like we're going to be talking about Cena like we still talk about Hogan or something like that. So I got to give it to Hogan on this one.
And let me chime in with one more thing on that.
Go ahead.
You got to look at the main events that Hogan has been in. The first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 3 with Andre, WrestleMania 6 with Warrior. The Mega Powers explode at WrestleMania 5.
Ooh.
WrestleMania, let's see here, WrestleMania 7, him and Slaughter at a time when the politics were getting kind of crazy, and they needed that All-American to win that title back. So, I mean, I think you have a lot more lasting impact with some of those Hogan matches.
I agree. Let's see. Let's go with Professor Bear. We'll just go around the horn here.
To piggyback off of Uncle Slam, Hogan had to walk so Cena could run, but Cena has ran so much more, and his impact hits a little different because where Hogan had wrestling, pure wrestling, and he took it to an entertainment standpoint, Cena had nothing because this came after the Attitude Era, and wrestling had went so it was on the verge of dying, and Cena had to carry it on his back. And we talk about impact of today throughout everything that can be said and will be said after Cena is gone. Cena aura still carries much more than Hogan's, because we know Hogan, we know everybody is human, and Hogan had his dark past, his different things and elements, and I'm not throwing any dispersion on that. But here's the thing, Cena continuously is still talked in a positive light. Even with him, they couldn't do anything with WrestleMania. What did they have to do? Cena, man, please come back and just show up.
Yeah.
And yes, Hogan started it, and this is to me the Bruno argument. Yes, Hogan was here, but now Cena is here. You got to go with, in my eyes, it's Cena.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a Cena. Let me catch up on the chat here real quick. Hulk Hogan himself has said that Cena was a better WWE champion than him. That was said by JT. He said, Kelly said Hulk Hogan was probably drunk when he said that. Busted Open Podcast, JT says.
That's where he said it, supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. And he said, we probably will. Cena revived wrestling. He did have a big hand in that.
He's drinking his real American beer.
That's right. And 100% driving his NWO boat in Tampa Bay. All righty. So we got a Cena and two Hogans. Let's go over to Samson real quick.
Trying to find a different way to approach this from the last two times. I had the privilege of watching Hulk Hogan live as a kid, as a teenager, and I also got to see him face The Rock at WrestleMania live.
Ooh.
So
That's awesome.
That's big.
That's one of the things of being Canadian. And being in that arena, and then going to Montreal the night after and being in that arena, it just brought all the nostalgia back, man. Like, it's hard to explain, because when I was a little kid, wrestling was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't know anything bad about him. There was nothing bad about him, like Professor Bear's saying. And I hope nothing ever comes out bad about John Cena. But shit, man, I love Fat Albert and Bill Cosby too. And look how long it took before the shit came out on him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And the way Hogan did it was word of mouth and tapes. John Cena at least had the internet backing and had social media emerging and YouTube available. Growing up as a kid, if you didn't watch wrestling on television, you missed it. And if YouTube didn't come around, we probably wouldn't have seen it. Right? So,
very true.
All of that being said, I just look at it, and again, these are the only two men in the industry that changed the game. Hogan did it twice, and John Cena, like he said here, the industry was almost dead, and he revived it. So, that being said, it makes it really, really tough, man. Can I call it a draw? Because I think both of them had that impact. But if I had to pick, I think I have to go with nostalgia. I have to go with kept me a fan. And that would have had to have been Hulk Hogan.
All righty.
Right? Because most of my people left after the Attitude Era died. A huge segment of the fan base left.
Yeah.
And all those sons of bitches are the ones sitting in their mom's basements complaining about everything now. AKA Val Venus, AKA Bob Holly. I'll throw them in there as well. All right.
with a microphone and some sunglasses and a cowboy hat. I don't know who he's talking
If
about.
I knew,
That sounds so familiar.
Right.
if I knew we were needing sunglasses for the show, I would have put mine on. But you know what? This is what I think, man. Honestly, at the end of the day, at Hogan's Impact, none of it's possible. Nothing.
Yeah.
But
This podcasting, shows, all of it. I wouldn't, it's just the way I look at it.
Miss Kelly says she just wants to flip a table Monopoly style.
Then do it, sister. Then do it.
But they came back when Cena revived. He's holding on to the argument.
but I would say this over all of the champions, is it not right to have Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan in the finals? I mean,
of the WWF.
no, I'm talking about all of it.
In general. Yeah, just in general.
I don't know, man. Uncle Professor Bear, we're gonna figure that out next week, ain't we?
I'm just saying. If they didn't make it to the big dance,
oh yeah,
something was wrong.
Yes, I agree.
I think what he's saying. Yeah,
I think that's apples and oranges, man.
Well, just for the giggles, I haven't been able to update it all the way, but here's the for tonight's show. But here's the tournament so far and everything. So next week we are looking at the finals of this, and we have got, it looks like, Hulk Hogan versus Nick Bockwinkel, Raven versus MJF. We will have Kerry Von Erich versus AJ Styles.
Ooh.
Sting versus Ric Flair. And it's all a guess from there, guys.
This is not poetic.
I'm telling you, next week is going to be a show. Like I said, Aaron, keep in touch with me, brother.
I will.
But yeah, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a lot of great guests as we have had tonight. Let me get this last pop up here, get y'all's opinion, and I will let you all get out of here. I know it's late. I appreciate you all coming and doing this because these shows always run late, but it's always great discussion. We've had a great time doing these with you all. Like I said, I can't thank you all enough for just showing up and helping us do this. And giving us your time like this. But this is the end of it. Hulk Hogan wins. I believe everybody swept with Hogan because that's who I was going to pick. No, we didn't sweep. Mm-hmm. Cena got one vote from Professor Bear. We'll let him enjoy his island. But no, final thoughts. Let's go around the horn. Mr. Aaron, what's your final thoughts on this bracket?
So this was a good bracket. There was a lot of debate. It didn't go the way I thought it would. But I mean, you have two of the greatest champions of all time coming down to the nitty gritty. I mean, it could have gone either way.
All righty. Mr. Sampson.
Yeah, I know. I have no problem with it. I mean, once I saw Hogan's names on it, I was already predetermined to pick Hogan throughout the whole thing, just based on the way I was looking at the whole industry and just WWE, WWF, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. It's ironic that WWE, WWF had more impact, not just on their own company, but on wrestling as a whole. That's what kind of made this a bit more interesting and more dynamic. Pardon me.
Okay. Professor Bear.
I will not, I do not, and I will not like Hulk Hogan. But with that said, I definitely respect the man. I understand what he's done for the industry. He will always get my utmost respect from that point of view. And when I look at any of these, I try to take out personal feelings and use common sense. And I hate to say this, but the right man won.
That's a humble bear right there.
Yes, yes, that's a very humble bear. Uncle Slam, final thoughts?
I don't really have an issue with the tournament. Yeah, I think we could have maybe switched out a couple of people or whatever, but I'm definitely okay with it. As far as Hogan winning, I've kind of figured it come down to either him or Cena, so there was no real surprise on that. I could see why people could make an argument for both, honestly, but I do think that the right person did win in the end.
All righty. I agree. It was up in the air with Hogan and everything. Before I get to my final thought, let me catch up with everybody in the chat. And I want to tell everybody in the chat, thank you all for being here. You all made, the chats hilarious tonight. I appreciate all of you all tuning in and watching. And I know you all did it because Aaron was here. So I'm going to try to have him on as much as possible now. So I can get some live viewers. No, I'm just think you guys enjoyed it. Gonna enjoy this Discord call. Thank you, JT. Let's see who else we got here. Mikey. Hey, that's my buddy Mikey. He said would have never said Hulk Hogan the winner. Mikey, you don't even hardly watch wrestling, but I appreciate you tuning in for the last few minutes. Love you, brother. I'll holler at you soon. As long as it wasn't John Cena. That's right. I agree. I can't see him anyway, so. The two that we had debated between Cena and Orton Triple H is I still won, Kelly. They're still going at it, guys. We have unfinished business, JT. Business got finished. I won our two debates. The business is over. Hogan versus Cena was the final. Flips too quick. If so, I agree with Hogan. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said again, guys, I appreciate every one of you all giving us some time and everything and being here. I definitely think Hogan deserved to be the winner. I was kind of upset that Sean didn't get to make it, but by the criteria, I had to keep it, keep it 100, as the youngsters say. But yes, guys,
Only the
everybody
best.
appreciate. Well, he didn't make it past the first round. Bill Goldberg. Mr. Rose, I know you got some things you want to plug before we get out of here, so go ahead and tell everybody all the things that you want to tell them.
First of all, got one big event coming up in the middle of August 22nd. I'll be producing for the AMW Super Bowl of Wrestling at the Big Corbin Arena in Corbin, Kentucky. Main event is going to be FTR versus the Good Brothers, so that's going to be one heck of a matchup. And then hockey season is around the corner, and I'm very excited. I'm going into my second season with the Lexington Nightfall hockey team. We are a not-for-profit hockey team, and our games this year are going to be benefiting a whole bunch of different groups. It's going to be like the Lexington Dream Factory, some of the youth leagues, Special Olympics. Every single ticket we sell for these events will go to benefit one of those groups. So I'm really excited for the Lexington Nightfall. You can catch all of our games over with our friends on Prep Spin, either on the Prep Spin site or on the YouTube page. And, last year I had Mr. Charlie Madison of EWA as one of my color commentators. He won't be back this year because he's moving down to Mississippi. So working for Ole Miss. So good on him. I'm going to miss him, but it's going to be a great year. And we're doing a game with the Irish national team in March on St. Patty's Day weekend. So we're really excited for that too. So Lexington Nightfall Hockey, check them out. Tickets are only $5 for every single game. Bring the family, bring your friends, and let's pack the ice center in Lexington. So come see us.
That is absolutely awesome. Yes, go check them out. Great organization, great people, and of course, great friend of ours here. So go support his cause. Professor Bear, tell all the people about your stuff.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my partner Sap for jumping in with us. Knew he would be great. You got to check our podcast, Professor and the Sap. We're generally Monday, Tuesday, just depends on what we're feeling like that day. um, and definitely want to talk about WSN Plus app that will be coming out in September. Guys, if you are a fan of wrestling, this is the place to check us out. We will be doing a lot of independent wrestling. We are giving wrestling promotions a platform to be worldwide, and not only just the indie promotions, we're bringing back promotions that hadn't been seen in quite a while. We also have games. We have WSN team members podcasts. We have affiliate podcasts. We have so much, and we want you to check it out. And it will be coming out September the 11th. That will be on Roku. That will be on Fire Stick. That will be on Google TV. We're gonna have it on the on phones, Apple, and the other one that I have that I never can remember the name.
Android.
Thank you, Android. We will even have where you can watch it online on our website, and that is WSNPLUS.TV. So we have some more exciting news, different things. So please check us out. I think y'all are going to be pleasantly surprised. And these are independent wrestling companies from different parts around the world, not just the United States or Canada or Mexico. We have different ones from around the world. So please check us out. And thank you for supporting my guys here. They're always doing great things, and they actually let me come out and do this, where a lot of people had me one time and don't want to show me again. So thanks, guys.
Hey, we appreciate you being here, Professor Bear, man. You know, we've never had nothing but good experiences with you. You know, that's why we have you guys
Yes,
back.
sir.
Because for one thing, you know, Mr. Rose, this is what your second appearance on
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Professor Bear, his several appearances. We love having you all on here because you guys love this as much as we do. You take it serious, you know what I'm saying? But we have fun. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
what it's about. It's wrestling. It's fun. Nobody, again, like we've said, there is no correct answer. Mr. Sampson, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you jumping in tonight. It has been an honor meeting you. You're very knowledgeable. We got new Canadian friends. We're going international, Uncle Slam.
There we
It's
go. And
it's
fuck
inter.
the right country too.
Well, I mean, you know, well, we'll say the country's
Yeah.
fine, but you know, maybe some of the wrestlers are kind of iffy. But you know, no, I'm just joking. But
Hey,
I
hey.
mean, you know, oh, you were talking about the Rougeos. You're right; they're a good team. No, we appreciate you being here. But
Thank you.
yeah, shout out anything you want to, and you know, let everybody know where to find you.
Yeah, look, very simply put, WSN, it is up and coming. It's going to blow up in everybody's faces this September. So everything Bear already said, I can't piggyback off of that because it's already been said. But you can catch Professor and myself on Professor and the Samp every week, usually Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on the mood, I guess. Also, I have Samp and Chance. I do as well. We do a wrestling show every Tuesday. And we also do boxing. So that's a little different from what most other guys and gals are doing out there. That's on Thursday. So Samp and Chance, Professor on the Samp, WSN. Let's go.
Man, it sounds awesome. And like I think I can speak for Uncle Slam. You have an open invite, sir, to come back anytime you want to. We've
Yes, sir.
enjoyed it. We just love sitting and talking about this stuff. We're trying to do, we do profiles on people, so we'll have to come get you on a profile show or something, sit and
Anytime.
talk. We just like
Absolutely.
to talk
Love to.
wrestling. Yep.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody, I appreciate everybody being here. I can't say that enough, man. Yeah. So yes, Uncle Sam, you got any last thoughts so we can let these people go on?
No,
And
sir.
enjoy
I'm tapped out. We're gonna let these people get some rest.
Yes, yes, guys. I appreciate again you all staying so late and everything. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all are our friends. Y'all are our family. Join in next week. It's going to be a great show. The finals, all-star cast, and maybe adding more. Come on in next week. He's tapped out. Referees hit that 3 count. We're going to ring that damn bell.